Hi Foxes and welcome back to my channel. This is Brittany from SHOPFOXBURROW. I am SHOPFOXBURROW on Poshmark, Etsy, and Instagram. And today I'm here with a little bit of a work with me video. I thought I would show you guys my process from after photographs onward. So as I photograph things, I lay them flat on this table that's right in front of me. And I have a sheet that I did up and then converted it to a PDF so it's really easy to print. And that is my measurement sheet. And what I'm going to do is measure and inventory these items at the same time so that they are ready to... I've already got the photographs on my phone, and then I'll have my sheet, and that way I can list from anywhere. This is also my last point of inspection before I inventory and bag everything up and then get it listed. So I'm going to be scanning for flaws and noting those as well. A lot of people talk about how long it takes them to complete a listing. So I have actually timed myself doing this, and it takes me about 2 to 3 minutes to photograph an item and get it off of the dress form and onto the table. And then it takes another 30 seconds to a minute to measure and inventory the item. And so it keeps my time pretty low to batch them and do them all at once instead of one at a time. I do try to make sure to measure and inventory everything before I list. That way I'm not dealing with piles of inventory that are listed but they're not in my inventory system. So I basically will not list an item until it is added to my inventory. And this just helps me keep everything organized. And if someone else is packing for me, say that I am on vacation, obviously not right now, but if I were to go on vacation, like when I went to Posh Fest, I want to make sure that whoever is packing and shipping my orders is able to find them very easily. So I have what is a soft measuring tape, and I prefer this because you get a better picture of the actual measurements. If you use a hard measuring tape, it doesn't flex as much with the fabric, so I do prefer a soft measuring tape. I am going to drop the camera down so you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'll kind of talk you through the first one or two, and then that's pretty much it. And I just wanted to show you what my process looked like. Okay, so you won't be able to see my face, but you're able to see the important part. This is my stack of clothing. I've got about 20 items here. I've got my sheet off to the side, a pen, and let's get started. So the first measurement I always take on blouses is the bust, and I have my measurements in the order on the sheet that you would take them in person. So bust, waist, hip, sleeve length, garment length. That way the same order that they are on the sheet is the same order that I'm going to take them. This has a defined waist, so I'm going to write that one in. And then I always do shoulder to hem, which is 21 inches. And this is the point where I figure out what kind of flaws there are. This one has a couple of holes. It's from the 50s, and some men's. I also write, usually the first thing I do is actually write the size and the brand. Okay, so once I've got my measurements, I make sure it is nice and neat, and I fold it in a way that will keep it from wrinkling as much as possible. And then I bag it. So previously I was using single-use plastic bags. I decided to go more eco-friendly and switch to Ziploc bags. The Ziploc bags have an inventory number on them, and I reuse that number because once the previous one is shipped out, there's going to be no other number 24. So this is 24, and I will put it in a bin that has space, so it might be like G24 or A24, but I will do that in a little while. Sometimes if I have a big stack like this, I might pull a whole tub out that has room and put it next to me. That way I know which inventory bin it's going into. But for this video, I did not do that. The next one is a Zara size small. So again, I'm going to take that measuring tape, and I don't do it like completely flat. I do put my fingers in and stretch, not like stretch it, but stretch it a little bit so that the fabric is laying flat. This has a 34-inch bust, a 28-inch waist, and since this is a fitted style, I'm gonna take the hip. The hip is usually about 8 inches down from the waist, or at the largest part, so that's gonna be about 33 inches. So it's definitely a bodycon style. And then I am going to do a strap to hem for the length, which is 41 inches. So once the measurements are done, fold the item. Put it in a bag. I have extra bags as well in case I run out of ones that are previously inventoried, and then I just use my roll of inventory stickers. So I have a roll over here, and 220 is the next number. So if I needed a new bag, that's the one I would use. And I have large size bags too. These are the gallon bags, but I have the giant size ones as well. And this fits about any other item that I might have. If it is too big for either bag, then I will often package it up and box it ready to be shipped, and then put an inventory number on that. But I don't use inventory numbers that are in my roll, because these are the ones that I will continue to reuse. Instead, I have another roll, and these started at 1,500, so 1,650 would be the next one. So if I put it on a box, it would be box 1,650. And that is pretty much it. After this, I will show you guys where I keep my inventory, and that is pretty much how it is done. More thing I do with these Ziploc bags is I squish them flat. I usually put my body weight on them. That way they take up less space in my storage. Okay, so pardon the dim lighting, but this is where I store my inventory. It's under my garage. And once I've got probably like 7 to 10 things to put in inventory, I'll usually come into this room and then pick a bin that has some space in it and add those items to the same bin. That way I'm not getting confused about which bin they're in. Like if I added half to C and half to E, how would I know, like how would I be able to keep in my mind which ones were added to which bin when I go back to add them to my inventory sheet? So I try to keep them in the same bin. In this case, it looks like H has some room, so I will put them in H and then head back out to finish inventorying the others. So I've gone ahead and added them to H, and just to show you these right here, the inventory number here, 1511, and if you look over here, these are where I keep my shoes. These all have inventory numbers as well. And that way I know that it is in a box, and I can just come over and grab the whole box, add some packing material, and then ship it on its way. Okay, so I'm back in my studio. Those items are put away. This is what my sheet is going to look like when it is finished and ready for me to list. I will add the rest of the items here. I've already scoped out that there's room in bin Q, so these will all be Q. And once these are inventoried and put away, I will get to work prepping the listings, editing the photos, and getting them up onto Poshmark. So I'm going to cut this video off here, short and sweet. I highly recommend this method. It is pretty easy for me to list between 10 to 15, sometimes even 20 or more items a day using this method. Obviously right now I am at home with both of my children. They are not going to school at all, so I am the school, and right now 3 to 5 listings a day is my maximum. It's all I'm really trying for. And yeah, so this is a really good way for me to batch listings. I can do my photographs one day, I can do my measurements the next day, and then I've got a batch of listings that will get me through an entire week, and that is sort of what is fitting into my schedule right now. So I do recommend this method whether you are just doing a couple of items a day or you're doing large batches every day. When I was in full swing, I tried to photograph between 20 to 40 items every day that I photographed, inventory, and put them away. And then I would do a lot of my editing and posting in the evening and try and post between 10 to 15 items a day. So I might be doing this process maybe 2 to 3 days a week, and then the other days were reserved for getting my listings prepared, cross-posting, and then also sourcing and steaming as well. So, yep, I'm just going to cut off there, and I hope this video was helpful for you, and I will see you next week. Bye.